I don't think that this was done appropriately. I maintain that this is illegal and unconstitutional.
Do you like the result?
Do
you like the result?
No, I don't.
Well, I don't. You would rather the regime head and those 40, 18 leaders be in place.
A star is born with Elizabeth Hassleback. But let's start with the news clip, and then we're going to go to Stephen A. and then Elizabeth. Roll the clip.
A senior Israeli official telling Fox News that the Iranian regime is having trouble coordinating and communicating as these strikes intensify against the Iranian capital of Tehran. They're going after what they call the repression mechanism of the regime, the IRGC headquarters, the Basij headquarters, and other locations where officials were commanding the crackdown on protesters earlier this year. It comes as the IDF released a new video today showing an F-35 fighter jet shooting down an Iranian warplane over the skies of Iran, the first dogfight and kill for the Israelis since the 1980s. Tel Aviv was under fire overnight as Iran is still trying to get off more ballistic missile fire. There have been 5 separate attacks over the past 12 or so hours. Much of that interception taking place overhead of Israel's second largest city. But U.S. Central Command is also releasing some new video showing them going after the ballistic missile launching positions inside of Iran. We also understand the Americans and the Israelis are going after the storage and production facilities there. And while the Israelis are looking east, they're also looking north to the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. Some very interesting developments this hour. The IDF just released a massive evacuation order for southern Beirut. This is the Dakhya neighborhood, a Shia Hezbollah stronghold, and they are telling all civilians in this area to evacuate immediately, an indication they are going to continue this bombardment campaign. And tonight, Lebanese leadership is expected to speak about the threat of Hezbollah in their country. Again, a change in tone from the Iranian president and prime minister because they understand that Hezbollah is now threatening the structure and stability of their country.
All right, that's a quick update. It's crazy to me. This is very clear that America is on the right side of this, and also the implications from China. Let's roll the clip for the China clip so we can put some context there, and then we're going to get to Stephen A. Smith and Elizabeth Hassleback. Roll the clip.
We have a chokehold on the strait. Look, assume that China wanted to move on Taiwan, right? There's a military response, but now we have a massive energy response, which is we simply don't allow any tankers to ship oil from the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz. We can do it. It might have been a little bit dicey had we not taken out the Iranians. That's roughly half of their oil. 40 to 50% of their oil is now suddenly not available to them. So those are enormous methodologies. And look at what happens in terms of military technology, Jesse. China provided their most advanced air defense capabilities to Iran. We completely destroyed them. They didn't shoot down one American or Israeli plane. This is reminiscent of 1982 when the Israelis flying F-15s went up against the Syrians flying MiGs, and the Israelis beat them 81 aircraft to 0. What happened after that? They couldn't give the MiGs away. So China now has the problem that their military technology is not recognized as being up to par to the United States. That's going to have huge implications with a whole host of other countries.
Right. So they lose a bunch of customers and they lose face. Now that the United States...
I think you got a good glimpse of this. Let's get on to Stephen A. Smith, and I want to get to Elizabeth, and I got to get to Sarah Haynes, too, because I think her clip is the most craziest one. But we're going to get Stephen A. Smith real quick. I like what he had to say. It's only 55 seconds. Roll the clip.
You got Tim Kaine and everybody else talking about, hey, it's unconstitutional. Well, evidently it's not. Article 2 of the Constitution stipulates that the president does indeed have the right to act if he considers it a national security issue. So he was never really in any trouble. He was never really in any danger of being stripped of his potency as the commander-in-chief to make such a decision. Why are we acting like he isn't? Constitution, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the United States Constitution declares the president to be commander-in-chief of the Army, Navy, and state militias. Presidents often cite this power to justify unilateral military action without immediate congressional approval, specifically to defend U.S. citizens or respond to threats. Period. Period.
Now, let's go to, let's go over to 604, because it is the first time in U.S. history does a man with common sense and an ignorant woman actually agree on something. Let's put old girl from the Veer on here because I ain't never heard her say nothing that makes sense. Brand new shirt that's out. They just developed this. This shirt is absolutely fire. You can get that at tatumstore.com. Tatumstore.com. If you're watching this on the television, just pause the screen, scan the QR code, and it'll lead you to the store. You can put in Epic Fury 26 and get 20% off. And for all the members who are members, we got a special discount code we're going to give to you. So if you're a member, we're going to give you a discount code that's much more substantial than 20% off because we love you and we appreciate you. It is the first time in U.S. history does a man with common sense and an ignorant woman actually agree on something. Let's put old girl from the Veer on here because I ain't never heard her say nothing that makes sense. Here's the first time she said it. And she actually agrees with Stephen A. Roll the clip.
A few things. In regard to what Sonny's saying about it being an illegal war, every modern president since Reagan has done this in attacks from Syria, Libya, Bosnia, Panama. So it happens continually to give it context. The other thing is the travel.
What does?
That Congress has ceded this power a long time ago. And I have a lot of criticisms on Congress, and this is one of them. If you want to be part of the conversation, don't hand your power over to the presidents, which they have done. Two.
Time out. Well, there's a reason why. Because when the rubber hit the road and it hit the fan, the president needs to be able to make a decision on national security threats and the threats against this country where he don't have to wait for Congress to get in power, and then they arguing all day. And they don't know what to pick because they're trying to play politics. That's why the president has unilateral authority to do that in the best interest of America as the commander-in-chief of the military. All right, continue.
Travel policy. I wanted to look this up because there are a lot of Americans stranded. It ends up since the 70s that the government has put countries on certain warning labels like beware, but also it is not the government's responsibility. They won't have the capacity to bring everyone back. They've changed that because that number was not, they had a number you were supposed to call that.
Yeah, the number.
That was different. Yeah. But then the last thing is, the other day I talked about how whereas administrations change and it's always political, I trust often the generals in the military. 74 retired U.S. generals and admirals came out endorsing this operation and saying that since its inception 47 years ago, they have been, this regime has endangered the lives of U.S. troops, diplomats, civilians across the Middle East and here at home. Death to America, death to Israel is a chant they have used over and over. I trust that these career military generals, you can't become a general if you haven't served your whole time. These career generals have seen stuff we have not seen. And the fact that they're coming out to say, you guys, this needed to happen, I do trust that.
What else you need to say? A star has been born. Elizabeth Hassleback will not be on The View long. I promise you that she can't be. The last 5 clips I see, she's been eating them up like Scott Jennings. This is the Scott Jennings of The View. Roll the clip.
I want to ask you why you keep calling this like an undocumented attack, that you don't agree with the war,
an illegal, unconstitutional.
So did you believe it was illegal in April of 2011 when the Office of Legal Counsel memo stated from President Obama that the president has constitutional authority to direct the use of military force in Libya because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest prior. Congressional approval was not constitutionally required to use military force in these operations. Where were you then complaining?
I agreed. Well, I wasn't on the show then.
No, but personally, would you have stood against that?
I was at home complaining. No, I wasn't complaining because the Office of Legal Counsel was involved. And the Office of Legal Counsel...
This came after.
But the Office of Legal Counsel is the office in the Department of Justice, because I worked at the Department of Justice, that reviews these things and makes legal determinations. This president doesn't go through the Office of Legal Counsel. This president does not go to Congress. Congress has the power to to approve wars. This Congress has the power of the purse. This president is acting more like a king than anything else. He is the commander. He's the commander-in-chief, but he is not a king. And so I think that this should have gone through Congress. I think that the American embassies should have been notified so that American citizens in the Middle East would have been able to get to safety. I don't think that this was done appropriately. I maintain that this is illegal and unconstitutional.
Do you like the result? Do you like the result?
No, I don't.
So you would rather the regime head and those 40, 18 leaders be in place.
This is going to be a longer conversation. Since this is going to be a longer conversation, we're going to take a break today. We're going back. And we'll
cut off, Whoopi. Go to break, Whoopi. Don't come out of break and bring on there, because she calling these women out. Thank God she's on there, because that other one, wasted face, is a complete failure. Let me tell you something. That lady, Elizabeth Hassleback, is what a real conservative is, meaning that you stand on your conservative principles even if you're on a show like that. Because what Wasted Face does is she capitulates. She wants to be liked by them. So she will compromise her conservative beliefs, alleged conservative beliefs, to capitulate to the things that they're saying because she want to fit in. This other lady don't mind calling you out on the carpet. And I'll say this, if she say something I don't agree with, then I don't agree. But overall, she seems to be a common sense, thoughtful person with wisdom that's laying the facts out there that you can't deny. A star has been born. I literally need to tweet that.